Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the teleconference for July 6th, 2021. This is the Library Joint Powers Authority LJPA Special Meeting. To join this webinar using a telephone only, dial any of the following numbers and I'll read two of them aloud. 1-888-788-0099 or 1-833-548-0282, and then slowly enter the webinar ID of 995-4736-8089. As an attendee, your microphone is muted for the entire presentation unless you follow the process for public comments. You do not need a microphone, camera, or a screen if you only want to listen to the meeting, as it is accessible by landline or mobile phone. The board will take public comments as outlined in the posted agenda and in the next slides. All written comments must include the agenda item number and be received prior to the close of public comment on that agenda item. If you're joining by computer, you may use the Q&A feature to type your comments. On the attendee control bar near the bottom of the screen, you'll see the Q&A icon. You may also use the raise hand icon to raise your hand. The moderator will either call your name or announce the last 3 digits of your phone number when it is your turn. State your name, and then you will have 3 minutes of speaking time. You'll see the Zoom control bar down at the bottom there. The left-hand side, you may see your mic muted, and then in the middle, you'll see both the raise hand and the Q&A icons, and then in the lower right, you'll see leave as a red box. If you're joining using a mobile device, the Q&A icon and raise hand icons likely appear near the top right corner of your screen, so everything is reversed. Leave meeting is in red letters in the upper left, and then raise hand and Q&A are both in the upper right. If you've called into this meeting using a telephone only, you may raise your hand by pressing *9 on your keypad. The moderator will announce the last 3 digits of your phone number when it's your turn to comment. Press *6 to unmute yourself, and then you'll have 3 minutes of speaking time. Once the board meeting begins, depending on the size of your mobile device screen, you may need to scroll over to view whoever is speaking. If you're accessing this meeting via the web browser only or a Chromebook without Zoom's Progressive Web App or PWA installed, you may not see all panelists at one time, only the panelists speaking. Vice Chair Tina Friend will now call the LJPA Special Meeting to order. Please stand by. Over to you, Tina.
Sarah, I think we're maybe having some technical difficulties. First and foremost, it says at the top of our screen that we're in practice session. Does that make a difference?
Yeah.
Okay. So now are we okay? And then Tina was having trouble with audio.
Yeah, she looks stuck.
Tina has contacted me and says she's going to be calling in on a cell phone.
So let's hold for one moment, if that's okay, Sarah.
Yep, this is the July 6, 2021 Library Joint Powers Authority Special Meeting.
Do we need to repeat that whole opening piece?
I don't think so. I think we heard it fine.
Okay. Thank you, Carlos. Tina?
Yes. Can you hear me?
We can.
I'm so sorry. I don't know why the internet here didn't work, but I've switched to my cell phone.
And so we are ready to begin the meeting if you are ready.
But okay, I'm ready to go. Okay. So welcome everyone to the special meeting of the Santa Cruz County City Libraries Joint Powers Authority Board. This is a special meeting again on Tuesday, July 6, 2021, starting at 9 a.m. And could we have a roll call, please?
Director Carlos Palacios.
Here.
Director Jamie Goldstein.
Here.
Vice Chair Tina Friend.
Here.
Chair Martin Bernal is absent today.
Tina, you're on mute right now.
Oh my goodness, I apologize. So I wanted to ask, do we have any additional materials?
We do not. Lisa Murphy does have a presentation.
Okay, wonderful. And then are there any additions and deletions to the agenda?
There are not.
Okay, thank you. So then we will move on to our general business agenda. We have 2 items here. The first item is item A, recruitment plan and contract approval for the library director recruitment services. And it sounds like we have a presentation from Lisa Murphy, Human Resources Director from the City of Santa Cruz.
Yes.
Great.
All right. Good morning, everybody. I have a brief PowerPoint presentation to go over the recruitment process. We solicited a proposal from June Garcia, who is we've worked with previously, and I'd like to go ahead and share my screen to review her proposal. There we go. All right, well, here we go. As you know, the library director, Susan Nemitz, has decided to retire this summer, officially in August, and we will talk about the transition timeline secondarily. As we prepare for Susan's departure, and we will be recruiting for a new director. This process isn't unfamiliar to most of you. We'll be using June Garcia. She's a professional library recruiter. We have used her for our 2 previous library director recruitments, and quite so successfully. June has submitted a proposal to us in the amount of $19,000, which was the amount 5 years ago, I believe, that she had when we recruited Susan. And she's sticking with that amount. Typically, her costs now are between $20,000 and $25,000. So it'll be $19,000 plus expenses. June has over 50 years of experience as a public librarian. She has served as the director of a large urban multi-branch library in a diverse community. She has over 19 years as a full-time consultant serving public libraries. And I lost count, actually, after 40 library director recruitments all across the country. And she is based out of Denver. So we're very pleased that we were able to obtain June's services. Primarily, she is very, very busy, and she is well known for some key characteristics that she implements, which is a lot of community and employee involvement, which I'll review with you. So there's 5 major phases that she has outlined. The first one is to determine the ideal candidate. The second, to recruit the candidates, then screen. Phase 4 is interview process, and phase 5 is the selection and appointment. And what I wanted to do was just go over phase 1 and phase 5 primarily because that is where the community and employees and staff will be have their primary involvement. The rest is a little bit more behind the scenes. So key actions involving employees and the community in the selection process. Right up front, it's very important in phase 1. She will facilitate in-person meetings and Zoom where appropriate. She is going to meet with library staff, city staff. She'll meet with the library board, the Friends of the Santa Cruz Library, and community residents. And in this process here in that phase 1, what she'll be working on is developing the ideal candidate characteristics. Who would successfully fit here in this library system? This is an important process to outline at the very front end and to get input to help us shape that recruitment process. In addition, the phase 5, which is very important, key actions that involve employees and the community in the selection process. This is where the finalists will be interviewed with the library JPA. The finalists will be here touring the representative library facilities. Typically, as I recall, the last time they toured 3 or 4 of the different libraries. And finally, as part of the selection process, June will facilitate an open forum to allow library staff, community residents, and others to hear the presentations and interact with each of the finalists. We found that the last 2 times to be quite successful in our process. Now, the timeline for this process, the first task is, as we're conducting now, we're a little bit ahead of schedule, so that's great. We'll do the contract execution and the notice to proceed. This is actually occurring now. So the next step is determine knowledge, skills, and abilities needed to be the successful director. That's our phase 1. And June's planning to visit here. We might move this schedule up a little bit, but we're looking at in the end of July, beginning of August. Once we get that information to her, and she can start preparing all of the recruitment materials again in August, begin to place ads, distribute brochures, reach out to her candidate pools of individuals that she is known and her different professional organizations that she's a member of. We're looking at, so that time frame of while it's open, it'll be closed, so open in August through September. I think we can actually move that timeline up a bit. Again, this is actually Ms. Garcia's timeline, because as you can imagine, she actually has a number of other recruitments that are ongoing currently. Applications are due in September. She'll screen the applications and she'll utilize the assistance of the board, interview and the semi-finalists, either by Zoom or similar technology, obviously sometime in October. And then we're looking at interviewing the finalists on site here in beginning of November, which again, I think we could probably push that up depending on her timeline and how quickly we can get the recruitment materials out, maybe more towards the latter half of October. And then at your board meeting in probably early November is to actually make the contract approval, and hopefully starting in December. While that's a nice long timeline, I think that it allows us for flexibility. It allows for unforeseen circumstances that might occur that will allow us to then do this in a very thoughtful process and be sure that we get all of the input that we are seeking from the community and the employees. And with that, concludes my presentation on the proposal that was submitted by Ms. Garcia. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Wonderful. Thank you, Lisa. Are there questions from the board members about the proposal timeline or any other factors?
I have a question comment, but I'll save it until we go to the public.
Okay. Carlos, do you have any questions? No? Okay. All right. And I don't have any questions either. I thank you for the thorough report and presentation. So now we'll move over to members of the public. Is there, excuse me, is there anyone who wishes to comment on this agenda item?
Vice Chair Friend, there are no public comments at this time.
Okay, thank you very much. So we will close public comment and bring it back to the board. And Jamie, I understand you had some questions, or you at least had a comment.
Yeah, sort of a question comment. I think it's really for the board members. My recollection was that Carlos and I were appointed to a subcommittee to help Lisa Murphy develop this proposal and bring us to this stage. Lisa, I noticed that you mentioned in your presentation when you had to screen the applicant stage up, you said, and members of the board or member of the board. And so I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page about whether or not the board subcommittee's work with assisting with the recruitment process is going to continue, or whether we're done at this stage and we're going to let staff pick the finalists and then as a board interview the finalists. So I guess my question is anyone, Lisa, do you need more help? And if not, are we all confirming that Carlos and I's role is done in the behind the scenes work on the selection, the recruitment process?
I think the intention was that I hope as your subcommittee will continue And in the screening process, that the subcommittee would be part of the screening process to select the finalists to move forward into the actual interview stage.
Okay, so you were looking for the subcommittee to continue.
All right. Does that work for the subcommittee? Was that your expectation as well?
I can do it either way. I thought this was the product, but if staff would like to have another set of eyes review the applicants to determine finalists, I think I can help out with that. If the rest of the board is comfortable with me in that role, or me and Carlos, I guess.
I think it's a good idea. I always think that it's always good to have more than one opinion and on some of these, especially the sort of candidates who might be a little less traditional or, might not exactly meet the qualifications. It's always good to have other eyes on it. So I think it's a great idea, and I'd be willing to do it, help out as well.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. And that sounds good for me as well. I agree. I think it'd be nice to have the board members' involvement up through the next stage as well. I think that will help enrich the conversation. So do we have any other comments from board members? Any questions? Okay, so seeing none, and I don't have questions myself. I know that we've worked with Ms. Garcia before and obviously has done great work for us. So I think she's a great choice and has the expertise in the field. So at this point, I'd be looking for a motion to approve the contract for the library director recruitment services.
I'll go ahead and move staff recommendation to approve the contract for the library director recruitment services agreement. And I also would like to thank Lisa for her work on this. And it looks like a very good process, and I'm very pleased with it.
Right, thank you. We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second. Could we please get a roll call vote?
Director Palacios,
Aye.
Director Goldstein,
Aye.
Vice Chair Friend.
Aye. And of course, we have Martine not absent. So that carries unanimous with the members present. Thank you very much. And yes, thanks again, Lisa, for your work. And thanks to the subcommittee for guiding us forward to the next step. I'm pleased. I think it's a great timeline to have our new director in place. Okay, so then that moves us to the next item on general business. This is item 4B, appointment of the interim library director. And the recommended action before us is to appoint Eric Howard, our assistant library director, to serve as interim director. So I wanted to see first, is there a presentation from Susan or Lisa on this?
I do not
Not
have a presentation.
hearing anyone jumping in. Okay. And Susan, anything from you?
I am a great admirer of Eric's work in the library system, and I think he'll make a terrific interim director.
Okay. Thank you very much. And are there any comments from other members of the board?
I would just like to thank Susan for your recommendation, and thank you for your many years of service, of course. And I know we're going to have other celebrations to celebrate your time here, but I wanted to thank you for your recommendation of Eric. And Eric, thank you for your work with the county library system, city county library system. Thank you for your work during the pandemic. And I've heard unsolicited comments from staff and public members who think very highly of you. And so thank you for your willingness to serve in this role. I know it's a difficult time with the transition and all the construction, so you're definitely going to have your hands full. But we thank you for your experience and for your willingness to serve in the position. Look forward to working with you.
Thank you very, very much. Really appreciate those words. And we will be missing Susan tremendously, but we're happy that she's staying in the area. We're going to try to make her part of the Friends of the Library.
Yes, we're not going to lose her cell phone number, that's for sure. Jamie, any comments from you?
No, I just want to echo Carlos's comments, I guess. Really thank Eric for his willingness to step up, Susan for all her wonderful service. And I'm happy to make a motion right now, but I think we need public comment first.
Okay, great. Thank you. So we'll turn this over to members of the public. Anyone wish to make a comment on this item?
Vice Chair Friend, I do not see any public comments.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, then I think Jamie, it's back to you.
All right. So I would move that we appoint Eric Howard to serve as interim library director effective August 2nd.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Director Palacios,
Aye.
Director Goldstein,
Aye.
Vice Chair Friend.
Aye. Okay, well, that carries unanimously. Congratulations, Eric. We are very excited to have you on board. I think you heard wonderful comments from the other board members. And I think that the work you've done in your years with the system have really set you up very well to carry forward on the strategic planning and other really deep operational work you've done. So congratulations. Again, we look forward to working with you. And Susan, of course, we will miss you very much and look forward to celebrating you a bit more as the summer goes on.
Thank you.
Okay, Eric, any other comments you'd like to make?
I just want to extend my appreciation and we're, as I said, I'm really sad. We're all very sad that Susan is moving on, but we want her to be healthy. And we're happy that she's staying in the area, and we're really excited to be launching into the strategic plan and thinking deeply about the needs of the community. So this is, even though it's been a challenging time, it's also an exciting time.
Yeah, I think well said. Okay. So I think with that, let me just check the agenda. I think that concludes our major business. So that wraps up our general business agenda. Just a reminder that our scheduled upcoming meetings, our next board meeting is on August 5th at 9 a.m. This is slated to be a virtual meeting, and you can see the items we'll talk about at that meeting on the agenda. So with that, seeing no further business, I can adjourn this special meeting of the library board meeting. And thank you very much to all.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Always a surprise. Okay.